Yeah. Well, to sum the game up in 1 point, I think we didn't play at any time with the quality that we have. I've looked at our training this week and it's been first class, and I was certain that we would give a better performance than that. But when you're playing cup football, you've got to build momentum. You've got to take the initiative. You've got to have your opponents on the back foot. And we made far too many technical errors to build that momentum. I'm sure that after the first 10 minutes, I thought we were on the front foot and we played with a little bit of structure. But then I'm sure that after the first 10 minutes had subsided, that Galaxy felt that they were in the game, because the more mistakes we made and the more they got a hold of the ball and the more they could get up the field into our last third, the more that I'm sure they felt that they could get something tonight. At no time during the game did we play consistently with that sort of quality that you needed, and that's very, very disappointing.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go right away to Sephora. I think your hand is up. Straight to the question, and the coach will do the answering.
Thank you, Vina. Evening, colleagues. Evening, coach. Unlucky on the result. You welcome back a lot of players from injury. Do you think in game situations that combinations are not there? Friendlies are not games. Do you think there was a bit lack of coordination there, considering the players that came back from injury? Thank you.
Yeah, well, we didn't start Samir, Lebza, Leo. We didn't start them for that reason. They're off the pace in terms of their 100% match fitness. We went with a slightly tweaked formation because we wanted to get more of our informed players on the field. So Machine had that little role in the pocket where he could drive in towards their defence from, and we had Sia playing at right back who would stay a little bit more and let Tia kick on forward. So we tried to do that to get more of our informed players on the field. But again, even the informed players didn't play with the quality that we know that they have, so that's why you gradually go towards, well, that Sammy can give you 30-40 and that Leo can give you 30-40, Lebza can. So when this one's not firing, let's try a different shape and let's try a different personnel, and that's what we did. We had to try and take the game back, and if we don't, even though we don't play with the quality that I think that we have, we still gave away a terrible goal and missed a few more than decent chances. So that could have very easily been a bad performance, not a great day at the office, but we went through because we created a chance and we took it with a set play. But once you give away that first goal in the cup, you run the risk of seeing what we saw tonight. They run the clock down, they'll injured players, make the changes, goalkeeper takes his time and breaks up the rhythm. So, you run that risk. Basically, we didn't have the quality that we didn't show the quality that we know we have.
Let's go to Christopher.
Hi, Coach. Sorry about the defeat. Everything gets a bit amplified in defeat, Coach. Yeah, but just looking at where you are now with Kaizer Chiefs, I think we started this conversation when you arrived a little bit. What would you say is the missing ingredient or ingredients for your team now as you look at it? And I'm not just talking in terms of today, of what happened today. As you have now been here, we are now in February, I think. Yeah. And I want you to concentrate for me on what is missing, not what is improved. What would you say are the missing ingredients for you to have now the solid Kaizer Chiefs back as the Kaizer Chiefs that is now? Thanks.
Well, I mean, that solid Kaizer Chiefs has been missing for quite a while, hasn't it? I think there's not just me that's searching for that secret formula. But Chris, if I say that we can't give away goals like we gave away today and say we're going to be solid, that's one. We can't miss chances the way we missed them today and say we're going to be solid. That's two. But I think it's bigger than that. It's finding a way of playing that gets all your best players on the field. And the conundrum there is that we play with Bernard, Karma and Keegan as the front three. And then people will complain, well, you don't get Machine into the team and you don't get Leo into the team or you don't get Sammy. Isn't it nice to have a big striker? So unfortunately you can't get all your best players on the field in every game. And what that does is you either stick with something that's doing okay, or you keep rotating the players and you never find a balance. And finding a balance is something that will give you that solid Kaizer Chiefs that we all want. So it is a bit of a conundrum. You don't want to make too many changes, but you're constantly searching for the best balance. Now, when we find that, and when we take our chances and don't give away soft goals, you can give away goals because the opponents play really well. But when you don't give away soft goals and you take your chances, I think then you've got a chance of finding that solid formation that you're talking about.
Sobre?
Thank you, Bravina. And Coach, hard luck about today. Tell me whether it's unfair or not. The reports are saying Ngobo, the defender from the former Morocco Swallows player, is pleading to play at the central defense. And that is where he played well and he won an award playing there. Now, I want to know whether will you heed to the call? That's one thing, because you are the coach, you know better and you can analyze better. That's one question. Secondly, tell me, confirm or not, it is alleged that you said you don't see yourself competing with Mamelodi Sundowns on the market. I don't know whether it's still that position, because an ordinary person in the street, sitting there, knowing Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, these are big teams with huge sponsors. So
I'll answer both of those questions quickly. I'll answer both those questions, even though they've got nothing to do with the game this evening. I'll answer them.
Yeah.
As far as the second part is that we won't compete with them. Of course, we will compete with them, but when they have spent over 40 million in this window, then I don't think if we go up in a direct fight, if it's a question of who's going to put the most cash out, I'm sure that Sundowns have an advantage over most teams, not just Kaizer Chiefs. And what I said is we won't add players to the squad unless it's value for money, unless we think that we are paying the chairman's hard-earned money and we are getting a player that will strengthen the squad. So I said that in many cases we can't compete with Sundowns if they are going, because they just throw more money than we do at it. So that's the one. Of course we want to compete with them, but we are obviously aware of their huge financial advantage. Now that's the first one. The second one is that in Globo has some of the worst burns I've ever seen on a footballer, and he has been out of training and he is not training at the moment. He wasn't selectable for tonight and he won't be for a while. And even though he wants to play at centre-back, he will play at centre-back if he's the best centre-back we have. If he's not the best centre-back we have and I put him into the centre midfield, I would think that he wants to play wherever selected, which is the indication he's given to me. And I'm sure his preference is centre-back, but he's got to prove to us that he is the best centre-back for that job. Now, he's had a few injuries and he's been up and down, so that's not been easy for him, and it's his first season at a club like Kaizer Chiefs. So I'm not rushing him. I'm gonna try and evaluate him over a longer period of time. But it would help him in his evaluation if he didn't have about a 12-inch burn that's ripped the skin off him and he can hardly walk. It would help him to show me in training that he's worth a place once he gets over that.
Last but one, Super Journal.
Thanks, Bina. Hi, Coach. It's Mazola. Hard luck on the defeat. Coach, just the assessment tonight after maybe losing out on a potential trophy. Maybe, I know it's difficult to assess after a defeat, but some would say another season for Kaizer Chiefs without a trophy since coincidentally since the last time you were there in May 2015. But how would you sum it up? I mean, is the main goal to get trophies in as quick as possible, or I suppose it's along the same lines that what Christopher asked about, maybe short-term goals and long-term goals? Yeah.
Look, I think everybody in the dressing room is absolutely gutted because, of course, we would class ourselves as one of the teams with aspirations to win this trophy. Of course we do, and we've been playing well enough. We're close to the top of the table. And we've been playing well enough to believe that a cup run is not impossible for us. So going out brings that the equivalent level of disappointment, So we see that trophy disappear. So we've got to do the best we can now in the league, finish as high as we can in the league, and then we've got to try and marry the short-term goals of just winning a game or winning 2 or 3 games with the long-term goals of building the squad, becoming that solid team that Christopher was talking about. And the longer-term goals is balancing the squad, buying and selling the players, bringing through some kids, finding a way that we get all our players on the field, our better players on the field. And so all of that is a little bit more medium to long-term. The cup is short-term, isn't it? So we didn't want to throw that chance away. I think we have done, and therefore no one is happy with that. No one is happy with the performance tonight. It's the cup, we didn't win, and so we've now got to show in the league that we are building something that could lead to something next season. We don't want to be a one season building and then rip the house down and start building again every season, which is, I have to say, it's a little bit of a curse of one of the bigger clubs. If you take Manchester United, they've done that for the last 5 or 6 years. Maybe that's been something that the Chiefs have also been guilty of, that we keep going for that 1 year. No, that's another bad year. Okay, we'll start again. And we've got to try to marry that short-term goals with the medium and long-term goals. And that's not easy when you're at a club like Chiefs that has demands from both themselves and from their supporters.
Thank you. The last one, Sephora.
Thank you, Vina. Coach, Kaizer Chiefs enjoys a lot of support from fans. Can you, in your opinion, please tell us what do you think the real impact is on not having fans in stadiums for Kaizer Chiefs? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good question. I wish I had an answer that didn't sound like sour grapes. I mean, if I give you the answer that our supporters are our extra player, they drive us on when we're in a bit of adversity, they help us. We play for them. If I gave you all those cliches, it sounds a little bit like, well, that means you can't play without them. Of course we can, but when you've got good supporters, then they are important to you, because Jurgen Klopp said that when the supporters were not in Anfield was not the fortress that it had been before. And I'm guessing that our supporters, when they get into the stadium, they drive us on and they become like that extra player. But that doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't be able to play without them. And we miss them massively. But that can never be an excuse, because we're professionals and we should be able to play without our supporters. Of course we should.
Short question, David, and short answer from the coach, as we had indicated we were closing. David?
Evening, Vina, evening, Coach. Tough luck on the result. Coach, I just wanted to ask quickly about the goalkeeper situation. Itukuna was obviously in the Compact Cup and he played quite well. Mackay was at the AFCON, but he played in the first half of the season. You gave Peterson the nod today, you know. Can you just let us know why you decided on it? Thank you.
Well, yeah, you're right. Itu played in the Compact Cup, and we were pleased to see that he's keeping his level. And Daniel was away with AFCON. He came back after not playing in AFCON, and he came back missing a lot of our training. So it was going to be between the other three for this evening. And Brandon was outstanding on the camp in Cape Town. The reports from the staff there flagged up that he was really good. And when I then watched the training, Bruce, Itu, and Brandon was he was performing very well. It was a close one. It was a close call for tonight, but we looked at the way we thought they were going to play, and Brandon was the one that we chose. His attributes suited this game quite well. I thought he had a good game, a very good game.